Okay, it's Laura here, back for another video, so let's get to it. I just want you to know. We're going to be talking about epilepsy and seizures. I'm also going to share with you the type of seizures I have had, and I'm going to talk about the stigma that exists with epilepsy. Now, I just want to let you guys know I am not a doctor. If you guys are familiar with epilepsy, you are welcome to skip the slideshow because it's really simple. Try to make it as simple as possible to understand for anybody that may not have epilepsy or a family member that does. So, here we go. Okay, so the first question is, what is epilepsy? Well, epilepsy is a neurological disorder affecting the brain. It causes reoccurring and unprovoked seizures. So you might be wondering, what is a seizure? Seizures are sudden urges of abnormal and excessive electrical activity in your brain and can affect how you appear or act. There are multiple types of seizures. We are going to make it nice and simple and break it down into two groups. They are focal and generalized seizures. So you're probably thinking, well, what's the difference between focal and generalized seizures? Focal seizures start in one area of the brain, and it can spread to other areas of the brain, but it does not need to. It can be mild or severe in symptoms, depending on the electrical discharges that are spread. Generalized seizures can start as a focal seizure, but can spread to both sides of the brain, or they can occur as generalized seizures in which seizures actively start simultaneously over both sides of the brain. Okay, so there are 4 lobes in the brain: frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal lobes. Each one of the lobes helps in providing different skills to the person. So we have motor skills, problem solving, memory, language, visual, hearing, emotions, mood, and memory. Well, you might be wondering, what type of seizures does Laura have? I have focal seizures. They come from the occipital lobe, so that is visual. It begins with an aura or notification that I could possibly lose awareness, or sometimes I will lose awareness or consciousness of my surroundings. As I stated, my seizures come from the occipital lobe, which is visual, and it can affect your language, reading, memories, familiar places, and faces. For me, it affected my language and speech growing up as a child. I hope that you found that presentation helpful. I know it was very limited in information. I just wanted to be short and simple. I will provide a link in the description where you can learn more about epilepsy, the types of seizures there are, the different lobes, different triggers, medications, and other options like surgery. So I will provide you a link in the description so that you can get a much better understanding of what epilepsy is and the different types of seizures. and how to manage your seizures. I just want to clarify my seizures. Like I said, I have focal seizures. They come from the occipital lobe. And the occipital lobe is visual. So 2 type of auras that I use, notifications, in that slideshow were first when I was younger, flashing lights. I'd get it in my left eye. And then as I got older, I would get what I called color changes. So I have my own language for epilepsy, but I called them color changes, and basically what would happen is the room would become lighter. Just a little bit lighter. That would be my notification. Before I actually had my term is a blank out, so I lost my awareness, and during that time I would repeat the word color, color, color. People that weren't aware of me having epilepsy really didn't know. Only if I was continuing that word, like they'd be kind of confused. What's up with Laura? Like at work and everything. And so those are the type of seizures that I had, and I am using my language, and I think that the language that I have created is a little bit simpler to understand. So I just wanted to clarify what kind of seizures I had. So I want to talk about that language from the past. We use focal and generalized seizures as the 2 separate types, okay? But way back when, it used to be grand mal and petite mal. So you could say that my seizures were petite mal seizures because it did not spread throughout the whole brain. It just stayed in that one area. But the generalized or grand mal seizures is where the stigma comes in with epilepsy. And I want to bring awareness about epilepsy to people, because when you tell somebody, or you're afraid to say something to your boss at work, people don't all know about epilepsy, and I do want to provide that information as easy as possible. And so these the term grand mal, old language, is what people think. People think epilepsy is someone drops to the ground, they're shaking, and it just doesn't stop, and they're gonna get hurt, and it scares people. That is what I think people are afraid of, or why they're afraid of when somebody says, I have epilepsy, or I have seizures. That's what the person that doesn't have the knowledge automatically thinks of. As you can see, my seizures are nothing like that at all. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys see that there are so many different types of seizures. They all come from different parts of the brain. They can start in one area or they can spread throughout the brain. And depending on which lobe will affect, how that person reacts. Like I said, occipital lobe, that affects my eyes, my vision. So of course, that's why I got the flashing lights. That's why I get the room becoming a little bit lighter, because my seizures come from the occipital lobe. But somebody else's seizures may affect them differently. So I just wanted to clarify on that. Let's listen to some music.
And I rise up, I rise like the day. I rise up, I rise unafraid. I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. Oh, we need, oh, but that we have each other. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll